this is Sierra and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another video reading another chapter of Hermitcraft, Mayhem. Today we're doing chapter 19, if you can tell from the title of the video. Well, I'm not entirely sure. I wrote the chapter. I should know if it's a short or longer one, but I don't think I really have to say whether it's a short or longer one because you already know that. But just looking at the timestamp. But yeah. This one is going to, the happy-go-lucky moments are over, if you hadn't noticed from last episode. So, yeah. Let's get right into the video, shall we? Pardon for any of the background noise. I don't think it'll get picked up by the audio, but it might. Just ridiculous. But, chapter 19. The sun began to set, casting shadows in the main room, where a set of tables and chairs had been set up for Lyra's birthday party. A voice bounced around the room, followed by laughter and giggles. Everyone at Hermit Fortress was here. Even Sam and False had decided to join them. Between his fellow hermit and her newfound protector was Erin, her head lowered as Impulse couldn't see the burns on her face, but even she was smiling and having a good time. Treasure the good moments, because you don't know how many you'll have. A lump formed in Impulse's throat as he glanced over at Scar, who was helping Grian clean up the table, grabbing dirty plates and glass bottles before heading to the kitchen. You really didn't have to do this, Lyra said for the third time that evening, tears brimming her eyes as she smiled. Yeah, we did, Kate insisted with a yawn. You're my mom, Lyra laughed, tossing Kate's dark red hair. I love you too, sweetheart. Kate leaned into her mother, her eyes growing heavy, but her smile never faltered. Lyra wrapped an arm around her daughter's shoulders and pulled her close. You look spent, Impulse whispered to the girl as people got up from their seats. Jem, Joel, and Pearl disappeared into the hallway, perhaps heading upstairs where it was quieter. Impulse didn't have to guess to know what they were up to. It was time to do nightly check-ins with their friends. Impulse still did it with Tango and Zed, even calling Mumbo whenever Grian wasn't able to. I'm not ready to go to bed yet, Kate whined, rubbing her eyes with her hands. I want to make sure everything is perfect. It is perfect, Lyra insisted, rubbing the girl's shoulder with a hand. You did far beyond what you had to do. The horses would have been just fine. Kate smiled sleepily. I know. Why don't you head to your room? Her mother offered. Tomorrow we could feed the horses together. That does sound good? You'll be okay? I'll be fine, Lyra assured her, getting out of her chair. Protectors at the table. Josh... oops, I skipped this. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Josh, Luke, and Eliza had wandered off. Impulse didn't blame them for wanting to find something more entertaining to do. It'd been a jam-packed day. He was ready for bed as well. Hey, Dippletop. Firm hands landed on his shoulder as his best friend appeared behind him. There's something I wanted to show you. What is it? Impulse asked, both intrigued and hesitant. Wild smile on Skiss's first face. Was a bit reassuring, though. Couldn't be anything dangerous. I came up with a new sword trick, Skiz boasted. It's really cool. I think you'll like it. No? Impulse frowned, getting to his feet. The main room was almost empty now, leaving Blake, Clara, and Julius with the duo. Had Sam left already to get back to False's base? Impulse looked over his shoulder, hearing voices in the hallway by the door. He wasn't close enough to hear what was being said, but he guessed it was Sam, Erin, and False heading back. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this kind of new computer. Technically not new for the computer, just new for me. Because, one of Dad's co-workers' computers that finally got working properly where it doesn't overheat, it's not important, but I have to scroll up if I want to scroll down on. I haven't figured out if I can fix that yet, but Impulse knew the older James brother was just being cautious, knowing that his base was being watched. Carnival would definitely take advantage of both brothers being under the same roof. So would Campbell. Impulse shook the thought from his mind. Why couldn't he stop thinking about Campbell? The man had been locked up for months now. He'd even been the one to make sure of it. Campbell never puts all his eggs in one basket. Gerald's words echoed into his mind. What had Gerald meant by that? Was Gerald insinuating that Campbell had stolen the blueprints, not Conover? Then why did Conover have them? Impulse knew Campbell had spent some time in Lovely World, keeping an eye on Sam and Stampy. The man had some weird obsession of getting revenge on Rose, blaming her for losing his son during a mission. Campbell believed that if he got her nephews, he could make her feel the same way he did. Got two of her nephews, sorry. Can't hurt anyone anymore, Impulse reminded himself. There was no way Campbell would have gotten out. Not many people knew where he was taken. Impulse? Skiz furrowed his brow, snapping Impulse out of his spiraling thoughts. I'm fine, Impulse replied quickly, getting up from his chair. Skiz raised an eyebrow, but said nothing, gesturing for him to follow. Impulse looked over at his protector. Blake watched him intently, a sliver of a smile appearing on his lips. The young man nodded, assured that his protector wouldn't be far. Impulse followed Skiz and out of the main room and into the new empty bedroom next to the sleepover room. Excitement danced in Skiz's brilliant blue eyes as he pulled out his iron sword. The sword glowed purple, rich with enchantments. Ready? I guess, Impulse mused, leaning against the doorframe. Skiz swiped and swerved the blade through the air, spinning in a circle before facing Impulse with a grin. How was that for cool? It was pretty cool, Impulse admitted. How'd you do it? I'll show you, Skiz said, gesturing for his friend to come closer. Impulse pushed himself away from the door, crossing the room, pulling out his freshly crafted diamond sword. Impulse made it halfway toward his friend when he heard a shout, followed by an explosion as something heavy crashed against the wall. Impulse whirled around, spotting the entrance to the secret tunnel was wide open. That wasn't from the kitchen, was it? Skiz gasped. A scream filled the air, breaking Impulse from his daze as he charged forward, out into the hall and toward the kitchen door. He knew that scream. He'd heard it before. Don't you even think about it, Rob! Liam hollered. Impulse rounded the corner to see the 16-year-old boy fling himself at the man holding the gas blaster. Impulse swallowed back a wave of fear as he took in the scene. Caleb was slumped against the counter, knocked unconscious. Scar was pinned down by his wheelchair. The front of his shirt was burned off, leaving an ugly red burn underneath. Rob snarled in rage as he tossed the boy off him. Stumbling to his feet, Liam scrambled to his feet, standing in front of Scar protectively. The hermit wasn't moving. Pain tickled Impulse's mind as he grabbed onto Scar's leg. We're here, Impulse whispered, hoping his friend was here, hoping Gerald wasn't taking the opportunity to torment his friend. So vulnerable. Rob glared at the boy. He no longer had his gas blaster, it having flown from his grip. You do realize that by helping him, you're leaving your charge exposed? That's the least of your worries, Liam stated firmly. Impulse glanced back, seeing Skiz behind him. Blake and Julius are going around back, in case he tries to go out the back door. Smart, Impulse nodded, turning his attention back to the scene. How so? Rob asked, with a bemused smile. You're outnumbered, Liam pointed out. Rob glanced over his shoulder, scowling when he saw the two hermits at the door. I guess you have me there. Step away from the blaster, Sharp, Liam warned when the man began to inch toward the gadget. Or what, you'll sick your dads on me? Ha! Rob cackled, reaching into his pocket. I don't think so. Liam, look out! Skiz shouted as Rob flung something at the boy. Liam leapt out of the way just as a harming potion smashed onto the kitchen floor right in front of Scar's limp body. Scar! Yeet like a raging fire filled the older hermit. Its impulse charged toward Rob as he lunged for the gas blaster. Impulse tackled him out of the way, trying to keep the man pinned to the ground. Can't hold me down forever, Rob snarled, grabbing the hermit's wrist. A flash of dark red bubbles floated around his hand before Impulse was flung backward. Double tap! Skiz shouted as Impulse fell hard on the floor. Impulse groaned, looking up in time to see Skiz grabbing Rob as the man got to his feet, reaching for the weapon. Skiz yanked him away, tossing him back onto the floor. Rob grunted, gritting his teeth as he glared up at the hermit, looming over him. I'm not leaving until justice is served. Justice? Impulse retorted, stumbling to his feet. Liam glanced at him warily. You call attacking our friend justice? Rob smiled coldly. You're supposed to die. Says who? You? Impulse narrowed his eyes. Skiz kicked the man back down when he tried to get up. You know, Rob said with a soft chuckle. Gerald was only following orders. From who? Campbell? Impulse spat. The man grinned. Skiz kicked him again. The smile remained. I can't tell you that. Can't or won't? Liam raised an eyebrow. Won't. The man burst out into laughter. Why does Carver even want this? Want him? Impulse demanded, stepping closer to Liam. Who says he does? Rob snickered, pulling something out of his pocket. Impulse recognized a small spherical pearl, but before he could warn Skiz, the man had thrown the object, reappearing next to the window. Rob scooped up his gas blaster and fired. Skiz's scream of rage twisted into pain as a ball of fire smacked him squarely in the chest as he flew across the room. Yeah. His luck today. Yeesh. Skiz! Impulse bolted for his best friend, falling to his knees at his friend's side. He was relieved to see his friend was still breathing. Tears still burned in his eyes as Rob laughed again. You need to make a choice and stick with it, Impulse. Rob shook his head, holding the gas blaster steady, aimed directly at Impulse and Skiz. You can't protect both of them. He moved the barrel toward Liam and Scar. No! Impulse cried, as Rob smirked. See what I mean? Rob mused. You like having everything under your control, but reality? You can't even protect your friends. Grin! Scar groaned, shifting uncomfortably in the wheelchair. What's Gerald showing him? Where was Gran anyway? Wouldn't he be here too, to protect Scar? What was he up to? Gran? Impulse redirected his mental hand, searching for his friend's thoughts. Instead he felt fear, and a glimmer of an image. A tunnel. No, it was a minecart track. What was Gran doing on a minecart track? Why did it scare him? What have you done to Gran? Impulse demanded, getting to his feet. Me? Rob asked. He shrugged nonchalantly. I said the accusation didn't hate him. I didn't do anything. I was just here to deal just due. Where's Gran? Impulse growled, seeing Liam's frown deepen. Boy briefly glanced toward the door behind the man. The pantry door was wide open, and Impulse could see, for the floor was gone. You got to be kidding me, Impulse sighed, holding up his sword defensively. Rob only smiled. At least it worked. You! Impulse charged at the man as he fired his blaster. Impulse dodged out of the way before tackling the man to the ground. How did he not see this coming? Gerald had done the exact same thing to him, taking the literal floor from underneath him. Gerald had used it as an opportunity to test out new features on that band, telling Impulse that the next target was Green. Fortunately, they'd put a stop to his dastardly plan, but clearly he wasn't against using old tricks. Impulse, are you okay? Footsteps came from the hallway. Beat-ups appeared. Jem, Pearl, and Joel just behind him. I think that's my cue to go. Rob grunted, shoving Impulse off. The hermit yelped as Rob scrambled to his feet, fired a rocket, and smashed through the kitchen window. He was gone. Remember, he's a hybrid, so he can do that without much pain. Don't let him get away, Joel shouted, heading toward the window as two figures launched into the air. Blake and Julius will catch him, Liam said quickly, turning to tend to Scar's injuries. Jem, could you help Skiz? I can, Jem replied, entering the room. Pearl followed her, standing by her side. Beat-ups crossed the room, offering a hand for Impulse to take. What happened? Beat-ups' gray eyes were as white as saucers. Apparently Rob was a distraction. He was sent to attack Scar. Finish what Gerald started. They took her. What? Where? Beat-ups gasped. Impulse turned toward the pantry, walking into the room. He peered down to the dark pit below. He might be able to catch up if we're fast. Are you sure? Beat-ups frowned. We should probably wait for backup. He's on a minecart track, heading somewhere. Impulse swallowed. Terror gripped his heart, a wave of dread threatening to smother him as bile filled his mouth. We have to help him. Beat-ups nodded, pulling out his elytra wings. Then let's go. Yeah. And now that's where I'm going to leave you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and feel free to let me know what you think if you want to. If you don't, you can, if you've enjoyed this far to the end of the video, and you like the video, of course you can like it, and share it with your friends or whatever, or subscribe if you haven't, but honestly, at this point, you know what you want, and I trust you know what you want. And if you like these sort of videos, that's great. I like telling these stories, and I know I'll find people who like listening to them. So, you never know until you try. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you next week reading chapter 20. Yeah. See you then. Bye.